Hi everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show, the UK's only TV programme that's dedicated to your mental health and well-being. Well, today is Makeover Day and we're also focusing on the benefits of volunteering. My lucky guest today is Karin Schulte, who volunteered for a number of years at the Hope Foundation, a registered charity working with street and slum children in Kolkata in India. She'll be telling us all about the benefits of volunteering and how it can hugely benefit your mental health. My other guest tonight is Scott Hillier, who was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2000 and has since done a lot of volunteer work for mental health charities and campaigns. Now, despite being sectioned under the Mental Health Act 15 times, he hasn't let this get in the way of his aspirations of becoming an actor. Now let's find out some more about volunteering here in the UK through this video.
Volunteering means giving your unpaid time to a good cause, usually for an organisation, scheme or charity. According to the NHS, there is good evidence that volunteering brings benefits to both the people and the organisations they support. It is estimated that 14.2 million people volunteered once a month in 2015, and rates are gradually increasing. The types of voluntary activities done by volunteers ranges from decorating, to giving advice, to cooking and cleaning, to babysitting. Results by the Community Life Survey show that on average, slightly more women volunteer than men, and the highest rates of volunteers are those between the ages of 16 and 25. Young people who have parents that volunteer are more likely to volunteer themselves, as are those of an ethnic minority group. Out of this age bracket, more students volunteer than non-students. Second place goes to people between the ages of 65 and 74, with the lowest rates of regular volunteering in 26 to 34-year-olds. In general, there is no simple relationship between deprivation and rates of formal volunteering, so it's really open to everybody. Sports organisations attract the most volunteers, with fundraising and running events the most popular activities. General hobbies and the arts come second, with religion in at third. Children's education, youth and health and welfare follow in the list. Politics is last at only 3%. When asked why they wanted to volunteer, the most popular response was wanting to improve things and help, followed by the cause was important to me and I had spare time. Time is the main reason why people stop volunteering, more commonly due to a change in circumstances. Paid work is the main barrier, whilst 14% of people said they had never considered volunteering. The median income for volunteer centres is stable, with an overall income of around £66,650. Local governments remain the lead source of income, while central government funding has ceased. Dr. Rachel Cassidy of the University of Wales states that volunteering can yield as many benefits, if not more, for the volunteers themselves. So what are you waiting for?
So now let's take a look at what those of you have to say about volunteering on Twitter. So Ben says, I'd like to volunteer to go on one of those foreign workers lists because Britain doesn't feel like my country right now. That's very sad to hear. Naz says, the secrets to be successful are to work hard, be positive, show gratitude, volunteer more, be kind and humble, value feedback and stay teachable. Great advice there. On the war in Syria, AJ Plus says, how much war can one take? This volunteer broke down in tears after saving a Syrian baby from the rubble. Let's take a look at this quick video. So you can see there how much, sometimes it does affect volunteers, and so good that they actually still go and help these people that are in so much need. And we also have the Royal Voluntary Service, who say that the government should promote the benefits of volunteer work as people approach their retirement. And Jamie claims that volunteering is not only rewarding but also beneficial for your body. And we have one more here. Volunteers Week sum up the message of this episode nicely by saying studies have shown that one of the big benefits of volunteering is improved mental health. So as we've seen so far, volunteering can come in many different forms and has a significant impact on the state of our mental health. So one of the most popular ways for those between the ages of 16 and 25 is to volunteer abroad. So that could mean taking a gap year traveling the world, or maybe a month or two in the summer holidays. Either way, volunteering abroad can be a vital way of providing community support to those most in need. So this can be a very big step both financially and mentally, but the rewards can be endless, as we can see in this seminar video held for returning overseas volunteers.
My name's Hannah Youngs. I went to China.
I'm Ellie. I went to Ghana.
I went to Cuenca in Ecuador.
Vanuatu for 6 months and had an amazing experience.
Teaching English in a Tibetan monastery in India.
I volunteered in Ecuador. It was amazing.
My name is Trinda. I was in Japan, in Nagoya in Japan, and volunteering in a hospital.
I got on quite well with my host family, and that was really nice.
One of the things I really liked about Ecuador is you can travel so far, like within a small country.
We travelled loads while we were there and did some really random things like professional snowball fighting.
Latitudes. If I hadn't have come with them, then I wouldn't have been placed where I was, or I wouldn't have had the support.
I loved every second of it. My favourite memory is probably this big ceremony we went to at the end. It's called the Kneel ceremony. Thousands of people turned up to this dancing ground.
One of my best experiences from being there was on my 19th birthday. Me and my 3 other volunteers from foreign lands performed in the school talent show.
Saw some really interesting surgeries. Got to see brain surgery while I was there.
And they sat us down, me and my friend, on top of this pig which was bound to the wood, and then they lifted up the raft and kind of hoisted us across the dancing, and we looked down upon it all, and this surveyed incredible colour and the noise.
So 400 parents and 200 kids just kind of all on this patio, just kind of, you know, bowing down to me and clapping and saying, well done, Sean.
Every other Friday we used to put on the drums and the students would dance and sing, and everybody would get involved, and I just loved it.
The experiences that I had in the hospital, the things I got to see, you never get to see them in England. The travelling that I got to do.
It's sort of changed what I want to do as my career.
I think the best thing that came from my Latitude experience was making friends with my students. They were similar age to me, and like I can't think now what my life would be like if I hadn't met them, and just really realising my own capability for like loving like so many people, like just meeting more and more people. I was like, wow, humanity's great. It is though. That's what I felt, like, truthfully, like true joy in everyone that was meeting, and some really inspiring young kids who want to do loads with their lives.
Yeah, those are probably the main things.
Go again?
Absolutely, in a second. Yeah.
Volunteering abroad is never more important than in times of natural disaster like that of Hurricane Matthew, which has devastated parts of Florida, Haiti and the Bahamas. So should you wish to help, there are many different charities and websites where you can register your support. Oxfam, Volunteer Florida, the Red Cross and Save the Children all have donation pages and volunteer registrations online for you to take part in. And as always, our thoughts do go out to all those affected. Well, after the break, we'll be meeting Karin Schulte, and we have treated her to a lovely makeover, so we'll be seeing that. And also our makeup artist, Sani Sorma, will be giving some advice on 10 makeup essentials. Welcome back to our program, everyone, all about the benefits of volunteering. And it is also our makeover day today, and we've had the pleasure of making over Karin Schulte, who some of you may have seen on the show before, and she's back again because we really wanted to treat her, and she'll also be talking about the volunteer work that she's done in the past. She volunteered for 8 years, so she'll be telling us why she did that and what she got out of it. So let's take a look at a photo of her before. And here she is now. looking absolutely beautiful. Hi, Karin.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well.
I love the look.
Thank you very much.
Which was done by the lovely Sunny Swarmer. Hello, Sunny. How are you?
Hi, lovely to be back.
It's lovely to have you back. It feels like ages.
It feels like ages. It does, yeah.
Okay. So what did you do here on the lovely Karin? She had great skin already. I saw her without the makeup.
She has amazing skin and amazing blue eyes.
Yeah.
So we kind of did what I like to go your look but better. So amping everything up just a little bit. So making the skin glow just a little bit more, the eyes a little bit more, but nothing overpowering, nothing too strong. It was like also her hair but better. So nothing that looks too artificial, too done, just like the best version of yourself.
Look, which is really nice. What do you think of this look? Do you like it?
Oh, I'm loving it. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what to expect when I first went in, and I sort of closed my eyes and opened them again and went, wow. So I was very pleased. She's a magician. Fantastic.
Is it something that you would normally do on yourself, or is it a bit different?
No.
Do you normally wear makeup? Or?
Not a lot.
Really?
No.
Okay.
So I have
we had a look at your makeup bag.
not much in it. No. That feels great. It's very nice. Thank you very much.
It was a pleasure.
So, Karin, we are going to be asking you about your volunteer that you did, but first of all, Sunny's going to be telling us about 10 makeup essentials that we need to have.
Yes, that every woman needs in their makeup bag.
So pay close attention so we can actually ramp up our makeup bags. Go on, Sunny, do tell us.
Right, so I am just going to go through this quite quickly. So my number one thing is a foundation primer. So a lot of people forget about this. They think if they're using a moisturizer, that's enough. A foundation primer is something that is kind of in between your skin and the foundation. It can make you glow. It can make you matte if that's what you need. It kind of just amps everything up. And this is as easy to put on as a moisturizer. My favorite one is Laura Mercier. I would say that this day and age, drugstore and kind of department store products are often on par. Like the colors are as good, but things that go on your skin, that sit on your skin, I do like to spend a little bit more money on, because it is being, mascara it's not going to soak through your lashes, but anything that sits on your skin, very important to be good quality. Okay. Next one is a tinted moisturizer or a foundation. So I have just bought a foundation to show you guys. This is one of my favorite brands, Ilamasca. It does an amazing range of colors. Now, my top tip for a foundation is when you go to a department store and somebody color matches you, the lighting is dreadful. So whatever they put on you, just put a little bit on, kind of like I tend to do here on like my left side of my jaw. I don't know why. Go outside. Okay. Don't trust the lighting. I wouldn't trust the lighting in the studio, even though the lighting here is amazing. So always go outside. Even if you tell the lady that's like, I'm just going to pop out and come back and buy it, just make sure that you look like yourself outside. Blush, and a neutral blush. So I happen to, let me just check the name of the color. This is a blush by MAC called Blush Baby. Now, a lot of us are drawn into these like really peachy or really pinky, really like intense colors, and actually a very neutral mauvey color for most people, unless you've got a very deep skin tone, is really the most flattering color. I know that this really doesn't look like much. It's not like one of the colors that you go as like, oh, that's amazing. But actually it's the most usable thing in your makeup bag. I don't have a translucent powder to show you, but we all pretty much know what a powder looks like. Translucent is universally easy. You don't need to change colors. And powdering, for me, and with you, I only powder just a little bit under the eyes and the nose. I usually do the same thing with you, Chrissy. Don't powder the whole face. Okay. Just T-zone.
Mistake number 55.
No, just like basically do the center of forehead, nose, a little bit under the eyes if you used concealer, and then kind of chin area. So leave all of this like lovely and not powdered, and then through the day when your makeup wears, you get a natural highlight.
Okay, good idea.
So you don't need to invest in the actual highlight. Okay. 2 products for the eyes, well, a couple of more than 2. Eyeshadow primer. This is, I know that this is a problem for you. I think I should give this for you because a couple of times when I've taken off your eye makeup, it has creased on the eyelid, and that is so common for women. Is like, at the end of the day, you're kind of like, you get that telltale line in the middle of your eyelid, and that means that the eyeshadow has creased. Something like this, amazing. So it is literally a cream. It's very see-through. This one is by Too Faced, it just primes your eyelid and your eyeshadow. Like I put my eyeshadow on, I would say probably 7 or 8 a.m. And it hasn't moved. It won't
looks amazing.
Won't budge. I did have to touch up my nose. Also, a neutral. You don't have to have tons of eyeshadows, but I would recommend having a neutral palette. So this is by Urban Decay. I think House of Fraser stock them. It's very neutral colors. It goes from light to dark. Beautiful, beautiful colors. Easy to use. There's one shimmer and the rest are matte, so it kind of works for everybody. And so mascara and an eyelash curler. A lot of women are very afraid of these things. They're not medieval torture devices. They actually do open up your eyes.
Are you referring to me?
Yes. And you said that this was your
medieval torture device.
You said this was your first time doing this as well.
I've never done that
does
before.
open your eyes up. It does. It makes.
How did you feel
difference.
though with it? I hate it.
It was all right. It was all right. I wouldn't choose to do it myself. I don't think I could do it myself, but you know,
it requires a little bit of practice.
It does.
And a mascara that lasts all day but is not a waterproof mascara is my best tip. This is Clinique's Lash Power. I swear by this mascara. It's soluble in hot water, so water that's hotter than, I think it's 38 degrees probably. But it will never smudge, so you won't get those telltale little black dots here, or sometimes even like above your, like mascaras go everywhere. This one is a godsend. 2 more things. Highlighter. Most of us won't spend time contouring, but if you just use a highlighter, this one again is by Laura Mercier, can you see how much I love them? It's a slight shimmer, it's a grown-up shimmer as opposed to a glitter, and you literally just do a little bit on the tops of your cheekbones, brings out the cheekbone. You don't have to worry about doing all of that contouring, like drawing a line here. But if you just put a little bit on top of your cheekbones, if you do that, makes your nose seem straighter, and your Cupid's bow will make your lips a little bit powderier. And then the last but not least is a lipstick that I call Your Lips But Better. So this color will be different for everybody. For me, it's a shade called Fanfare by MAC, and it is essentially pinky or a peachy color depending on your coloring that is ever so slightly brighter and deeper than your own lip color. So it doesn't look like you're wearing too much, it just amps it up a little bit, and also when it wears off during the day, you don't have to worry about reapplying. If it's gone, it's gone, but it's an amazing thing to have. And when you find that little shade, usually just go for one shade darker or deeper, and one shade brighter. So it just amps it up. And that is my must-haves.
Brilliant, thank you so much, Sunny.
You are very welcome.
And we're going to talk a bit about volunteering now, because I know you do some volunteering as well, Sunny, but let's start with Karin, because you were volunteering for 8 years. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I volunteered with an NGO in India. I was actually living in Singapore, but we were raising funds and awareness for street children in India, which is what I continue to do with the Hope Foundation now in the UK.
Yeah, brilliant.
And it was an incredible experience.
How did you get into it in the first place, though?
Well, Indian street children are arguably some of the poorest street children in the world, and I wanted to make a difference to those children. And I got into it because I met a lady who was also volunteering, and she encouraged me to volunteer, and I had some free time on my hands at that time in my life, but I wanted to do something. And so we set up a society which was just all run by volunteers. So there were probably between 8 to 10 full-time volunteers, and then we had maybe up to 20 or 30 people volunteering on a part-time basis. And yes, we raised awareness and raised funds, we held events, and we would go out to India, and I still do go out to India to help in the projects and to really learn about how we can help the lives of street children in India. And it's very rewarding. I mean, some people ask me, well, isn't that quite distressing or depressing, quite challenging? And yes, I mean, you do see some of the terrible stories, and you know, it can be quite emotional. But the flip side is it's very inspirational because you see how people can turn their lives around. You meet some incredible people. So it can also be very uplifting, and I would never have had that experience unless I'd volunteered in the first place. And I think, you know, if you give, you do get a lot back. So I would recommend anyone to volunteer.
So yeah, that's great advice for our viewers. Sandra, you also do. Can you tell us a bit about the volunteer work that you've done?
I started earlier this year. I started volunteering at Look Good, Feel Better, and it is a charity that basically helps women that have had cancer treatments and have maybe lost their eyebrows or skin can change, and we go in and we hold little workshops of a couple of hours and teach women how to do their makeup. So how to draw the eyebrows back in, or you know, how to cover a little bit of redness or whatever, or the skin could have gone a bit flaky, and they get these amazing kits all donated by top brands, so they get to take them home, and they get like usually there's 2 or 3 makeup artists in each session and about 6 to 8 women, so it's really kind of hands-on guidance. And it was just a great place to find, because I didn't think there would be something I could do volunteering-wise that involved makeup, and I stumbled on it, and I was really happy that I did.
That's really nice when you actually get to also do something that you already work in that field, and to be able to help in some way in that, because you already know what you're doing, kind of thing with that.
And so I kind of felt like I thought it would be depressing initially, or it would be distressing, because obviously they're going through a very serious illness, but it's incredibly uplifting. Incredibly uplifting,
Yeah. So what about top tips maybe that you would give viewers that are thinking of volunteering? What would you say?
Well, I would think the best thing is to choose a cause that you're really interested in. So for some people it might be the environment, it might be children, it might be animals. So just choose something that you're personally very interested in.
I'm surprised you haven't gone for a cat charity, because I'm always talking about cats.
Actually.
Carry on doing what you're doing. So consider the cat charity as well. Sorry, Karin.
And then really think about what you'd like to get out of it. Obviously, you're going to be able to give, but it's a two-way process, volunteering. It's about what you can get out of the experience as well. So some people do it because they've got spare time, or they want to try something different. And so that's important to understand, because whoever you volunteer for, if it's a charity or another organisation, if they understand what your requirements are and your needs are as a volunteer, you can have a better match. Then actually volunteering should always be an enjoyable experience, and you should be getting a lot out of it. So it's important to get the match right.
Brilliant. Okay, Karin, it was so lovely speaking to you. Thank you so much for your advice, and I'm really glad you love your
yes,
makeover.
Yes, fantastic.
Thank you so much for the lovely makeup. Thank you for my makeup as well, and also for the tips that you've given to us.
You
Thank you
very
so
welcome.
much. That was
always
great.
a pleasure.
Actually, should we give Karin one more gift? You don't know about this. I'd like to give you this little voucher, Karin, and this is for a 1-hour facial at Times Square Spa. It's amazing. I've had a massage there before, but this one the facial's amazing.
Oh,
so
that is fantastic!
Because you've done so much for other people, so you deserve to be treated as well.
That is very special. Thank you very much.
That's very kind. She wasn't expecting that.
No.
All right, guys. So after the break, we'll be hearing about the positive impact volunteering has had on Scott Hillier, who will also be telling us about living with bipolar disorder. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show, and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back, everyone, to our show all about the benefits of volunteering. So my next guest is Scott Hillier. Hello, Scott.
Hello there. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thanks so much for coming on to talk about the volunteer work that you do. But also there's more to your story than just the volunteering, isn't there? Can you give us a bit about your background, first of all?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on as well. I was born in Croydon in 1974. I'm 42 years of age. I went to a school called Archbishop Lanfranc. I didn't really have much interest in what the education had to teach me. So I've led a pretty colourful life. From the age of, when I left school, I didn't leave school with any qualifications. And I basically went to a party when I was about 14 and didn't really come back till I was about 25.
Wow,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so I sort of went in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And had a pretty destructive life for my early part, you know.
Destructive in what way?
Just went off the rails. So I had a lot of anger problems. Okay. I didn't like to be told what to do, so I found it hard sort of knuckling down, and like when I had a job, I found it hard knuckling down, you know? Yeah.
Okay, and also, Scott, can you tell us about the bipolar disorder that you have as well? When did you discover that you had it?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Well, when I was 26, that was the year 2000, I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, bipolar type 2. And if anyone doesn't know what bipolar is, it's like extreme moods. So I get extreme high moods and extreme low moods as well.
Can you describe like each one? Like what's the low mood like for you, and then also the high? Well,
what it is, manic depression, I get more of the manic side of it. So I go really high up into the sky. So when I'm unwell, you know, I've been admitted to hospital on many occasions when I've been unwell. And I'm so high that they have to scrape me off the ceiling, you know, that's how high I am. And so the sort of manic depression is like a double whammy. So I get the highs, and then after that I get the crashing down, like I get the lows, you know.
What happens during the highs?
It's almost like...
Because I just want to ask you, because obviously we don't mind explaining more for our viewers at home that don't actually know. Or maybe they even have a family member that has bipolar and it's not been diagnosed.
Yeah.
So they can maybe recognise the signs.
Okay, so... It's hard, because when I was first unwell, I didn't know I was unwell, you know? You don't really know you're unwell, but I get this amazing sort of euphoric feeling.
Okay.
But my sleeping patterns start... I get really erratic sleeping patterns to start with, so that's a sign that I'm going to become unwell. So my sleeping patterns, like I won't get enough sleep, you know, and I'll start waking up at sort of 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'll have loads of energy, and I feel like I don't know. I feel like how can I put it? I feel like a genius when I'm unwell, you know, and I feel like I've got this like I open up this something up inside my head, you know, and I feel like I know all the answers to everything in the universe.
It's like you're on the go all the time. Like you don't stop. Is it like?
Yeah, absolutely. I speak really fast, and I get all these ideas in my head. You know, and when I've been unwell, I get these like delusions of grandeur as well. You know, you know.
Is it scary when you're in it?
It's nice. It's beautiful, but I'll hit the height of mania, and then you get the psychosis, which is the scary part, because that's when I hear all the voices and stuff like that in my head and that. You know. Yeah.
And what about the lows, Scott? Thank you for explaining
that. That's
all
right.
What about the lows? What happens? Is that
the lows? You just feel
like
you just feel like worthless. You know, you feel like life's not worth living. You feel like you've got no energy. All you want to do is sleep. You just isolate yourself. You don't want to speak to anybody. You just shut everything out. You know, and it's just like, you know, I think we've all got this sort of energy field around us. But when I've got depression, it's like this energy field sort of diminishes, you know, and it just strips me down to nothing. Yeah.
So it's really two extremes, isn't it? Then
it is. Really, you get the euphoric highs and then the lows. You know.
Wow. And how do you cope with it?
I just get on with it. Just get on with it, you know. But obviously, when I'm in hospital, they have to give me antipsychotic medication to bring me down off of these highs, you know. So I suppose that helps, but they're not very nice drugs at all.
Do you have to be on them all the time?
When I'm in hospital, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, as I say, I've now been sectioned under the Mental Health Act 15 times.
Wow. How's that affected your life?
Yeah, it turned it upside down. You know, when I was sectioned for the very first time, it turned my world upside down. You know, because I didn't think there was anything wrong with me. But then when you're locked up in a hospital and you get your freedom taken away from you,
must be
horrible. And it's really scary. It is scary. That bit's scary, you know. And then you come out of hospital and you sort of feel alone, because I don't think there's enough help out there afterwards when you come out of hospital, and you feel very alone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
you need a lot of support when you come out. Don't you?
You do, yeah. Yeah, and you carry around the stigma as well, which is another thing.
Yeah, how have people reacted to you in the past?
Well,
now even?
When I first got put in hospital, I remember my mum saying, "Oh, don't tell anyone you've been in hospital." You know, I said, "No, Mum, I'm going to tell everybody that I've been in hospital," because where I come from is quite a close-knit community. It's a bit like sort of EastEnders, if you like, you know, and everyone gossips and all that. Do you know what I mean? So I thought the best thing to do is just to tell everybody. And if I tell everybody, because once you get it out there, then they can only gossip for so long, and then it's all done and dusted, isn't it? You know.
About your attitude, by the way.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so obviously you've had a lot to deal with, but you managed to get into some volunteering that has actually helped you quite a bit, hasn't it? It's given you sort of something to work towards, a drive. Can you tell us how you got into it and what you do?
Definitely. Well, as I said, when I first left, when I first came out of hospital, I felt like my life was over, you know, and like I felt like I didn't have any life purpose, and I felt a bit ashamed of being, you know, stuck with this label of bipolar, you know. I felt a lot of shame and guilt, you know.
Guilt?
I don't know. I just felt, you know, it's labels, isn't it? It's labels, you know.
Nothing to feel guilty though.
No, I know that now. I know that now. But so when I first came out of hospital, I felt sort of isolated and lonely, and as I say, there wasn't enough help out there afterwards when I come out of hospital. So I thought, I want to get in touch with people that understand what I'm going through and who have maybe suffered the same, you know?
Yeah.
So I basically got in contact with a local charity called Hear Us. And I signed up with them, and they do like different types of voluntary work, you know. And they do a thing called the Reach Out Challenge, which is basically an anti-stigma campaign project. And they go around to like all different organisations, like local authorities like the Fire Brigade, the London Ambulance Service, or the police service, and basically what we do, we go to these organisations and we speak openly about our mental health and about our story, you know, and then we speak one-on-one with the workers at these places, you know, and we open up to them, and then sometimes they open up to us, you know.
That's really good.
So it's brilliant. It's a brilliant way to get rid of the stigma, you know. Because
how did that feel for you, like doing that? Because obviously being misunderstood and like because people do talk, and especially when they don't understand what's going on. They gossip, they talk, they judge, maybe treat you differently. Maybe you kind of, there's certain opportunities that wouldn't be there because they know about the disorder. So now being able to talk about it openly in front of people, in front of like, you know, important organisations, how was that for you?
It felt liberating, really liberating. It felt like a weight off my shoulders, you know. I think people should, you know, because the catch-22 is with the stigma. If you don't speak about it, then the stigma's always going to remain, isn't it? You know, because it's people, you know, they hide it. Do you know what I mean? You know, and what people can't see, I think people are scared of. So
that's very true.
And I think if you open up and just tell the world how it is, you know. I mean,
and like I always say, Scott, on this programme, it's also important for people that have these conditions and they're talking about it to also not judge those who might not understand, because that's the whole point. They don't understand. That's why they're like that. But once we understand something, then we can, you know, sympathise and be helpful and stuff like that. So I think it's no point in getting angry when someone doesn't understand us.
No.
You have to, isn't it? I think that's the other side of it as well. We need to explain, we need to talk more, we need to do more programs like this to get it out, the message out there, and everyone then understands each other, right?
No, absolutely, because I was one of the people, before I got diagnosed, I was one of the people that was one of the stigma people, do you know what I mean? So, you know, what people don't know, it's all about education, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely.
But yeah, I love doing, when I've got time, I always try and do the mental health voluntary work, because it helps me and it helps others. And I think it hopefully inspires other people that suffer like me as well, you know, that it's not the end of the world, and you know, and it opens up other doors as well.
What advice would you give to someone maybe that's just been diagnosed and they're feeling really like low and like life isn't really worth living anymore? What would you say
there's
to
loads
them?
of services out there, you know. There's loads of services out there. All you got to do is if they've got like a key worker or a care coordinator, just ask them to give them the information, because there's so much help out there, you know. And just, you know, they're not alone. Trust me, they're not alone.
They're not. Well, they've got you as well, haven't they?
They've got me.
Maybe on TV.
No problem.
First time on TV, by the way, that you're speaking about this.
First
so
time
brave of you
on
to do
a
that.
chat show. Yeah.
That's really good. So glad you did this.
Thank you.
And also, what about your future plans? Because I can see, you know, the type of person that you're not going to stop here. You're going to keep going.
No, I'm not going to stop here. No, definitely not. Basically, funny enough, talking about the mental health, I've got a documentary in the pipeline by an award-winning filmmaker. And I've already had a meeting with him, and he wants to call it Scott. And I'm like, well, I felt a bit big-headed, like calling it Scott. Do you know what I mean? But I thought, no.
Oh, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's really
so it's going to be it's all about me.
Yeah.
But it's good. Why not?
That's amazing. So will you keep in touch and keep us updated about that, and we can let our viewers know as well?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
All right. Well, Scott, it's been so lovely speaking to you. And I know we're going to hear more from you very soon, hopefully.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, all right, brilliant.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, so after the break, I'll be giving you some tips on how you can get involved in volunteer work. Welcome back to our programme, everyone, which has been all about the benefits of volunteering. So I've had some great guests on today and a really lovely makeover. So if you've missed the beginning of this show, don't forget you can head over to our YouTube channel in a few days' time, Chrissy B Show, and catch the whole show there. And also don't forget to subscribe while you're there, so you make sure that you won't miss out on any of the great content that we have there. So I'm going to be giving a bit more advice on how you can actually get involved with volunteering. But first, let's take a look at this. Everyone, we're always telling our viewers how good it is to be outdoors, because being out in the wild and out in the open, fresh air, nature around you is great for our mental well-being. And a great thing to do is actually to do some work outdoors. And today I'm at Paradise Wildlife Park, and I'll be helping out a bit, cleaning out some of the enclosures, and also speaking to Aaron Whitnell, who has recently been through quite a tough time in his life, and he's going to be telling us how working outdoors has actually helped him.
Alright, so yeah, we're going to keep it nice and simple. We're just going to go in and we're just going to clean our red deer hard stand. So it's, like I said, really easy. All we're going to be doing is just sweeping all the loose straw back up into their stable, okay?
But it's still good to be outdoors.
Oh, of course, you know, there's so many benefits to it. I mean, I can talk from personal experience with that. And I mean, you know, you become so much more physically fit without actually noticing it at times as well. Yeah. Even just simply sweeping, you know, it's amazing how it works your muscles. I mean, like I was saying, from personal experience where I haven't been particularly well and I've had serious leg issues over the last, or leg injuries over the last couple of years because of working outdoors. Even though I haven't been able to do the more physical aspect like we're doing now, only up until recently, I've been doing more things like tours, just a couple a day, just to start things off, because I had to get used to walking again. And now, because I've gradually built that up over the summer, I'm 3 months ahead of schedule in my recovery. So,
do you think if you weren't working outdoors, you wouldn't have maybe recovered so quickly, even mentally as well?
I think so, definitely, for sure. You know, a bit of fresh air sometimes is all you need. The one thing that, because I was always quite a sporty and active person before this as well.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I used to love, if I ever had an issue, was just going for a run.
Yeah.
Just take your mind off things.
And for people that don't actually have the benefit of working outdoors, like as a job, full time, you can always volunteer somewhere, isn't it? Just to be outside.
Yeah, of course. We're always looking for volunteers. We also do work experience here at Paradise as well. So everything you see us doing from general keeping standpoint, we get a lot of the volunteers to do as well. So you're not just going to be standing around doing the jobs that the keepers don't want to do. We get you really involved. So, you know, it's fair for everyone. But
it's definitely something we would recommend, guys, to get some work outdoors. Even if it's gardening, if you don't come here and volunteer, but you can do gardening, you can do all sorts of things. There's loads of charities and places that you can go and help and be outdoors.
Or
great
come
for
and
you
work on our
and
gardening
great for the
team.
charity. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Right, guys, Nice. So now it's time to give you a few tips on how you can get involved in volunteering. Now, Karin did mention a few of the tips already, but there are a few others that I'd like to cover with you. So let's take a look at the first one. So first of all, research the causes or issues that are important to you. So it's really good that you look for a group that works with issues which you feel quite strongly about. So you might even actually already be helping one of these organizations, maybe financially. So it might be good, since you're already interested in that cause and you know you are supporting it already, you can actually do a bit of volunteer work, and it will mean probably more to you if you do it for this particular organization than another one. The second point is consider the skills you have to offer as well. So maybe if you enjoy outdoor work, as we saw earlier, or maybe you enjoy teaching, you're quite good at that, or you're quite a sociable person and you like to be around people, you might want to look for some kind of volunteer work that actually incorporates those aspects of your personality. So I think it'll be more fun as well, and you probably, because you're already naturally good at certain things, you might fit in quite well with something that already has the skills that they need, the kind of skills that you have already. The third point is, would you like to learn something new? So maybe you can consider seeking a volunteer opportunity where it's something completely different for you. If you're a person that perhaps gets bored easily, or you're looking for a challenge, or you're looking to do something completely out of your comfort zone, because actually when you do things out of your comfort zone, it does improve your confidence and it gives you a boost to do other things. So maybe go for something that you've never thought of doing before. Do a bit of research and find something that you would think, oh, that sounds difficult, or that sounds a bit scary, and just go for it. You never know, you might be absolutely brilliant at it. So it's great for us to always do something new from time to time. The fourth point is combine your goals. So maybe look for volunteer opportunities that will also help you achieve other goals in life. So for example, if you're someone that maybe wants to lose a bit of weight, you can actually volunteer with some kind of sporting charity or working with children. Or maybe you've been wanting to, I don't know, learn a bit of cooking, so you can volunteer in a kitchen somewhere. It's just things that, you know, because as Karin said earlier, it's important that you also get something out of the volunteering. I mean, any type of giving is always going to help you feel good about yourself, but also if it can actually add to your life in other ways as well, that's great. Let's look at the fifth point now. Don't overcommit your schedule. So you do have to be very careful. Make sure you're realistic about the time that you have to offer, because at the end of the day, you don't want it to affect your health. You know, if you take on too much, you could be compromising your health, your fitness. Also, you don't want to upset your family. So if you're exhausted or you don't have time for your family anymore, that's not a very wise thing to do. So make sure you pick a charity or your timings very carefully to make sure you can fit everything into your life. The sixth thing, this is not really a tip, this is more something to consider, that non-profit organizations may also have questions. So you might actually, even though like charities are really, really keen on taking on volunteers, but do be warned that sometimes it's like applying for a job. So you will actually have to maybe sit down and have a formal interview and go through all the processes you would when you're looking for a job. And that's especially for organizations that maybe work with children or vulnerable people. So do bear that in mind and don't feel shocked if suddenly you're called in for an interview just for a volunteer position. The next point is to consider volunteering as a family. So this is great if you maybe are kind of leading separate lives under your roof. So maybe, you know, the kids are doing their own thing, parents are working a lot, and you don't really have much family time, but actually getting together and volunteering for a cause that you all believe in could be great, not only for the charity, not only for your mental health, but actually also bringing your family together. So that's something you can definitely consider. The next point is virtual volunteering. So yes, there is actually such a thing. So if you have a computer at home, or maybe you have the necessary computer skills, some organizations do actually offer the opportunity to do volunteer work over your computer. So this can vary. There's lots of different things. So there's organizations that, you know, allow you to give free legal advice. Maybe you can actually type some coursework for a person who can't do it, for example, because they have a disability. And it could just actually be like the old thing that we used to have, the pen pals. I don't think there's many pen pals out there anymore. Now it's all virtual, now it's all by email. So you could actually kind of adopt someone that maybe is lonely or doesn't have much contact with other people, and you can email each other, and that's also helping in some way. It's volunteering, and obviously you have to make sure as well that you have time to commit to that. The next point is, I never thought of that. So many community groups are looking for volunteers, and some may not have occurred to you, because most of us know, for example, that hospitals and libraries and churches, there's lots of, always, we know, volunteers there, but also there are other places that you can actually approach and see if they have volunteer work, and these can be things such as nurseries, schools and colleges, drug rehabilitation centres and civic centres. It could also be retirement centres and homes for the elderly, or churches for or homeless shelters as well, and also things like museum and art galleries. And there's also community choirs, there's prison, there's parks, there's youth organisations, sports teams as well if you're more sporty, and also after school programmes. They're always looking for some kind of help. And finally, the next point, the last point is, put your heart and soul into it. So when you do volunteer, you really need to be committed, because at the end of the day, there are certain people that will kind of not depend on you, but they need help. And if you're working directly with maybe young children or young people or vulnerable people, for example, even animals, you need to really be committed, because you are dealing with someone else, you're dealing with something else, and it's important that you are trustworthy and to make sure that you do things properly, because at the end of the day, it's not about you only, it's about that person or that animal, whatever you're doing or whatever cause you're volunteering for. All right, guys, so I hope those tips have benefited you. If you are considering doing some volunteer work, I definitely recommend it myself. I do volunteer work. I run women's groups sometimes as well for those that, need inner healing. And for me, it's very rewarding, especially when the ladies come up to me afterwards and they tell me how much the seminars have benefited them and how much it's helped them to grow and to change and to let go of their past. So I think it's very, very important. I also learn, because when people come and speak to me about any issues they're going through, I learn so much from other people as well. So I do benefit, as well as also feeling really good about actually helping other people. All right, guys, so we have reached the end of today's program. But if you have a story that you would like to share on this program, maybe you've been through a difficult time and you'd like to share your experience, or perhaps there's something that you're going through right now and you would like to get some advice on the show, you'd like a whole topic maybe even dedicated to that particular area, then you can email us on info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. And you can also get in touch with us via the website, which is chrissybshow.tv. Till next time, bye for now.
I had such an amazing time. Thank you so much for having me. It's my first chat show experience, and I'd definitely come back again if you'll have me. So thank you very much.